Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back to your latest daily dose of tech news here at Hot News. We're going to get into it. We got Nvidia canceling their next GPUs. We got AMD trying to make sure they don't become like Nvidia. Tesla's making huge profits. And my personal favorite, Quibi is shutting down for good. Let's get into it after we talk about the sponsor for today's episode of Hot News, Ting. My friends, in case you want a mobile phone carrier that does things differently, if you're tired of being stuck on a contract for things you don't even use on your mobile phone bill, well, Ting should be the place where you're looking, because you only pay for what you use. You don't use any minutes because you hardly ever call anybody. You don't use that much data because you're stuck at home and you're actually just on Wi-Fi all the time. Ting's probably the perfect place for you to go. With the average user only having a bill of $23 a month, you can use their rate calculator on their website to see if it would save you money. I have the team here at UFD Tech on Ting, and my latest bill for 2 lines was $36 because they're home. In addition to being super affordable, they also care about you. So if you call in, they're going to answer the phone. They also have great nationwide coverage with them just adding Verizon into the fold. So if you're wondering whether or not your phone's going to be compatible and you're going to be able to just Ting. Check it out at the link in the video description, ufd.ting.com. You can save $25 off of your first bill, which for me would make 1 line free. And the average user, the entire bill would be free for $25 off. Hey, check it out at the link in the video description. Now, I want you to check out cancel culture has gone too far. All right, that's where we're at. And Nvidia canceling themselves because undisclosed reasons. I guess this isn't cancel culture, but the RTX 3080 20 gig and the RTX 3070 16 gig are no more, according to board partners who've said that Nvidia has canceled the launch for these in December, but on top of that saying that these are not postponed, but these are indeed canceled. This was a SKU that a lot of people were looking forward to because they believe that the 10 gigabytes on the RTX 3080 wasn't enough for them. So I know a lot of people personally in our Discord, which you should totally check out, join the link in the video description, who have been waiting on the higher VRAM models. Well, Nvidia is apparently not making these anymore. There's no reason that's been given for the cancellation, and it does look like the 3060 Ti is still on track to get a mid-November launch, but the 3070 16 gig and the 3080 20 gig are no more. Just to quickly speculate on my end, I can see this happening for a few reasons. Number one, Nvidia realizes that they can't actually meet the demand of the cards that they have, so why even bother trying to keep up with this? We're not even gonna get there. So let's go ahead and not try. Number two is that there could be a GDDR6X shortage, which makes it so that they can't produce these higher VRAM amounts. It's not just the amount, it's also the speed, although that doesn't necessarily explain the 3070 16 gigs since that's GDDR6. Number three, AMD is not competitive. They know it, and they have no reason to actually ship these cards because the only reason they were making these was because Big Navi was going to be something that they'd have to be scared of. But now that they've seen the actual benchmark numbers, they're not scared because it actually sucks. That's a potential. Or number four, as somebody in our Discord mentioned, which again, you should totally check out, it could be because Nvidia is going to be switching to TSMC sometime in the near future. And so producing these cards while also switching process nodes is just kind of likely going to defunct them very quickly. The Super Series is likely going to outpace them. And so if you want a 20 gig RTX 3080, you probably should just wait for the 3080 Super from TSMC. That's the general idea. What do you think the reason is? Why is Nvidia canceling these cards? I want to hear from you down below. But Nvidia also getting some leaked benchmarks of the RTX 3070. It's an Ashes of the Singularity benchmark, so it's not really representative of real world gameplay, but it does indeed seem like the 3070 is slightly faster than the 2080 Ti, which is about what Nvidia has been saying. We'll have to wait for more benchmarks as they come out. We are a week away from the launch of the RTX 3070, so just hold your horses until then. And by week away, I mean we're 6 to 8 months away from you getting your hands on one, but that's okay. But AMD doesn't want to replicate that situation where everybody looks at Nvidia and is like, please, sir, can I have my cards? I don't know what that accent was, but you're welcome. AMD issuing an anti-scalping guideline to its distributors and retailers, saying that they need to make sure that they take measures of bot detection, CAPTCHA implementation, purchase limits, reservations, manual order processing, limit reseller sales, and inventory to cart allocation. Don't screw this up. We don't want to be like Nvidia because we know we're not successful in the first place. Our market share is dwindling. We can't have this bad press, so please don't ruin this for us. We also got some pictures of the Ryzen 5000, which is a completely different situation. You can see this is like the Ryzen 3000, but it has 5s now, 5950X and 5 5900X. We're not going to talk about 5s when it comes to Intel. We're going to be talking about 9s because they made $9 billion off of selling their NAND flash memory business to SK Hynix. $9 billion. This does not include Intel's Optane memory, but it does include all of the other NAND stuff that they were working on. So the NAND memory and storage business is gone. Goodbye. $9 billion deal for Intel. They're taking that. And speaking of Intel, we got some information out of Acer yesterday at their event showing us that the DG1 graphics card that we're expecting to go into laptops is now called the Iris Z Max. This is going to be the first laptop from Acer. The Swift 3X is going to be available in December at $900, which is such a better deal than what I paid for my Tiger Lake laptops. Regretting that heavily, but nobody's regretting Tesla because they're making money hand over fist. $331 million in profit in Q3 2020. Just to put that in perspective, we're about like a year out from when they were losing $1 billion a year. Anyways, they grew the revenue 39% year on year despite the pandemic. They delivered 139,000 cars. They're on pace to potentially do 500,000 cars by the end of the year, with Elon Musk saying that they are very excited for the future. The full self-driving beta system is out, and because it's out, they're going to be raising that price of the full self-driving system sometime next month to $10,000 as opposed to the $8,000 that it is right now. But speaking of things that were right now, they're no longer with Fortnite. The latest patch that they've revealed makes the game smaller by 60 gigabytes. Smaller, not bigger. This is a 27 gig patch, which reduced the file size from 90 gigabytes down to 31 gigabytes, which means that you also can load the game faster. It's why is COD not doing this? This is ridiculous. Maybe because Cold War's coming out, so they were just like, leave Warzone the giant bumbling mess it is. We'll deal with that later. Speaking of giant bumbling mess, asteroids. At least that's what I hear on the street. NASA shared its first image from the OSIRIS-REx touchdown on the asteroid Bennu, and you can see here that it was a flyby. It just smashed into it, grabbed a few things, and flew away. It was only their sampling thing that touched the asteroid, but they're saying that they learned a lot, especially because of so much debris that happened. Speaking of debris, you want to put debris in your camera lens? Well, Lomography's new 35mm camera is gonna allow you to do that. I don't understand this, but you can inject liquid directly into the lens so that you can get cool pictures like this, and then it's $80 in case you want that. They're saying it's the world's first fluid injectable lens, which probably for a reason it's the first. It's supposed to make things look more vintage, supposedly. Speaking of vintage, Stadia is looking really vintage at this point, like dead and gone, ET landfill vintage, because Amazon Luna's beta system is now live, and according to reviews that I've been seeing, and it's actually pretty good. Amazon Luna, as opposed to Stadia, is more like a Netflix for games. You pay the monthly subscription, you get a whole host of games, as opposed to Stadia, where you pay a monthly subscription, and then you still have to buy the $60 damn game. Anyways, I actually got my invitation for the beta, so I'm going to check it out and make a video on it shortly, so stay tuned for that. But speaking of things that are dying and dead, can we all just celebrate for a moment? I just need a round of applause from everybody. Quibi is dead before the end of the year. This was what I was expecting when it launched, and it, of course, is going down with no sense of self-reflection, no sense of understanding what they screwed up, of course, because that's the reason why it failed in the first place. The company that raised $2 billion in venture capital funds and is closing 6 months later has no idea what the hell they did wrong, with the leadership of Quibi saying that their lack of success is likely for one of two reasons. You morons. It was one very explicit reason from the very beginning, saying because the idea itself wasn't strong enough to justify a standalone streaming service, or because of our timing. You're idiots. It was the service itself. The idea was awful. Nobody wanted it. It was even in their failure, they continue to have no sense of the damn market. I read an interview with Meg Whitman when asked what her favorite TV show was. She was like, I don't watch TV shows. What? There's also some rumors that this could potentially be because some executives on Quibi are going to get jobs in the Biden administration, so they're getting out early before all of that happens. Could potentially be that. Who knows? But Quibi sucked to begin with. I'm glad it's dying. It's over. It's good. It's good. Good news for me. And good news for you. This hot news is over. Don't forget to check out today's episode sponsor for hot news, Ting, mobile phone carrier that does things differently. You can potentially save money. They have all the features that you would need in a mobile phone carrier. So check them out, ufd.ting.com, to save $25 off your first bill with them. And let's go ahead and save you from yourself. Don't do drugs, kids.